If you go into the JavaScript file, you notice that this function is for what turns it on, while this function is for what turns it off. So now I want to write just one function that will handle both, just to combine these two so that we have one function. How is that going to be possible? That's what I want to see. So right now, let's just call another function. But this time around, I'm using this second function because I want the name to be, I don't know, light bulb. Yes, you can use that name, and then you have to pass a name inside. You can call it anything. Flip, just stay with me. Stay with me. I'll tell you what the flip is going to be for. This flip is what I want to use to differentiate between these two buttons. I want to flip between the two buttons, but I want this function to be used to flip both of them together. So I'm going to identify this with a number 1, and I'm going to identify this with a number 0, just because 1 just feels like on, while 0 feels like off. Okay, so coming right there, remember this is the name of the function, so I'm just going to copy this function, right? And I'm coming to the HTML. So instead of turn on, I'm going to name this function this light bulb. Now instead of flip, I want a number to represent turn on, like I said. So let's use 1 to represent turn on. And then coming to this place, right, the same thing, but I'm changing this to 0 to represent turn off. So this is super easy to understand. So before we even go ahead to do anything, let's test it out to see if these buttons are working or not. So I'll be introducing you to the developer tools. So as a developer, there are several ways we can write programs and get responses from the computer. The computer is going to tell you if whatever you're doing is working, if the program you're running is, you know, working or not. You should be able to get 1 or 2 feedback. So if you right click on your browser, go to inspect, something will pop up. Good. So this is called the dev tool, the dev tool, developer tool. That's what they call this side. It's like the underlining of the browser. So while other people are looking, at the front shiny object, we are interested in what goes on inside of the browser. So this just gets you inside of the browser. That's special. That's like special treatment, right? So there's a whole lot of things you can do from this part of the browser. This just gives you superpowers. You can control your systems. You can get into DOM, which is the DOM. I'll talk about it later, and many other things. So, but it's confusing. Don't worry about this. I'm going to talk to you about all these are the codes we wrote in. If you notice, this is light.css. So meaning that CSS, light.css is at work there. These are some of the codes we do, but we are not bothered about the CSS right now. We are bothered about the console, which is the JavaScript. Console is, where you can communicate with the with the system, and then you get feedback like quickly. That's the console. So let's use the console to test if the buttons are working or not. So I'm just going to go to my JavaScript file. Let me just run a simple script to say log, console log. So console log, you should know what console log means. It just means print out, or it means show me, just simple. So let's just look for something very simple like hello world. This is hello world is like, the developer's anthem. That's what we used to initiate new developers by writing your code first. In your first line of code should be hello world. All right, so let's just push it to the console every time we click on a button. So whenever I click on any flip, whatever, let the console write hello world. Let's see if that works. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's see if it works. And boom, good. It wrote it hello world. It means that any button I click will give me hello world. Any button I click will give me hello world. So, but the next problem is, how do I know the exact button that I clicked? I can tell the exact button that I clicked. Why? Because over here I named the individual buttons. You can see that I named them 1 and 0. 1 is to turn on, 0 is to turn off, and it is inside this bracket. I remember this bracket, the bracket represents this flip. So meaning that I can actually console log the flip. I use log, sorry, log. So I can actually console log the flip. If you notice now, I put this in a quotation mark because it's just a statement. It's me trying to say something, talk, or like a string, call them a string. But this flip is not just a statement, it is a keyword because I've named whatever comes in here flip. That's what I've named it. So if I click on this turn on button here, it means that what will go into that bracket is will be 1. Then if I click on this turn off button, what goes into that bracket is 0. This is super easy to understand. So if I come on here, right, and whatever button I click is first of all going to show me hello world, and then it's going to write console log the number that I clicked on. Let's see. So if I click on this, you just see that two things executed. One is the hello world, the other is the switch that I clicked on. So let's try this turn off. You just see that hello world and 0. So what that means is I can actually tell which button I click on. So if I can tell which button to click on, then I can now direct each of the buttons to perform a particular function individually. So let's go in between here. The function says we want this. So I want to write an if else statement. An if else statement is what makes the computer decide on what to do. An if else statement tells the computer what to do. An if else statement tells the computer, helps the computer decide on what to do. So I'm saying, if this is happening, please do this. But if that is not happening, you can do the other thing. It's called an if else statement. So this is if, and then usually if whatever command or the condition, sorry, whatever condition I want to state will be inside the bracket. So I can say if flip is greater than 0. You know what that means? If flip is greater than 0, it means it's 1, because I only have two switches. One is 0, one is 1. So if the flip is greater than 0, which means it is 1, then what do? I want to write after the condition, I want to write the code I want it to execute when the flip is greater than 1. What I want is exactly this, right? Yeah, so I just want the bulb.src, that's the source of the bulb, should just switch to on, not off. Let me explain this code again. So what I'm saying here is, hey, whatever I click on is the flip. First of all, console log the flip. Let me see what number I clicked on. And if that number is greater than 1, just let the bulb be on. Remember, this is what switches the bulb for us. But the else statement is not now what gives us the but. Else, and then we'll write the but. Else, let this same thing be here, but this time around let it be off. I don't even have to explain this again. Let me explain. So what this means is, first, let us see what number of switch we are clicking on, or what switch we are clicking on. Then let the bulb be, if the flip is greater than 1, then let the bulb turn on. In fact, I want to actually do another console the log, that might be. So let me copy this and put it here. Let me put the variable, sorry. I want the computer to first of all tell us what flip. If the flip is greater than 1, tell us what flip has been touched. So I can just write a code here to say the turn on has been clicked, light has been turned on, something like that. So light turned on, light has been turned on. Right, and then it will now show us, I'm going deep right now, so I'm saying light has been turned on is going to show on the console, and it's going to show what number of switch has been clicked. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's see how this works. And then we can say hello world, hello, we did it, or something. We did it. So this can be at the end of all the whole stuff. It doesn't really matter. Let's see if this works. Refresh just to be sure, and look at this, and let's see if this works. You just see that. So first of all, give us the what number, and then you can see light has been turned on 1. That's what we did here. Except want to put space for it to do. Okay. Turn on. The light has been turned on 1, which is the button we clicked on. We did it. and then let's try off. A light has been turned off, 0. We did it and everything. So let's stop there, and thanks for joining me today, and I hope you had a nice one. Don't forget to share, give me a thumbs up, and have fun. Bye.